I still hear her laugh in my sleep. It's strange how sound can haunt you even after years have passed. But I'll never forget the day I met her, the wicked clothes seller. That day changed my life forever. It all started with a hot afternoon, one of those days when the sun burns so fiercely you feel like you're walking through fire. I had just lost my job in the city and was looking for work in the village, which wasn't easy, but I had to survive. I had to feed my family. That's when I saw her, a woman standing by the roadside selling clothes in a small stall made from old worn-out sheets. The clothes looked beautiful, but something about her felt off. Her eyes were too dark, too empty, like she was hiding something. But I didn't care at that moment. The clothes were cheap and I needed something new. She called out to me, her voice smooth and sweet, like honey dripping off the tongue. "Come, my son, come and buy the best clothes in the land. You won't find anything like them anywhere else." I walked up to her, trying not to notice the strange way she smiled. Her teeth were too sharp, too white against her dark skin. She showed me a bundle of brightly colored fabrics, each piece brighter than the sun, each one looking like it was from another world. "I'm selling these at a very low price today. Just for you," she said, staring at me as though she was waiting for something. I didn't know why, but I felt compelled to buy something. Maybe it was the way she looked at me, or maybe it was the heat and hunger clouding my mind. But I agreed. I picked a bright red shirt, a color I had never worn before, but it looked so perfect. The woman handed me the shirt, and as I touched it, I felt a strange chill run through me. Her hands were cold, colder than they should have been under the hot sun. But I didn't think much of it. I paid her the small amount she asked for and walked away. That night I tried on the shirt. It fit perfectly, but something was wrong. I felt tightness around my chest, like the shirt was pressing into me, even though it wasn't too small. My body seemed to reject it, but I couldn't take it off. I felt tired, weak, like the life was draining out of me. The next day, I woke up to a pounding headache. I stumbled out of bed, looking at the shirt. It was still on me, but now it seemed to shimmer in the dim light of the morning. It looked almost alive. When I tried to remove it, I couldn't. The fabric had somehow stuck to my skin. I tugged and pulled, but it felt as though the shirt had become part of me. My skin burned where it touched, and my head spun. That's when I heard her voice. It was the same soft, honeyed voice that had lured me in. It echoed in my mind, a whisper at first, then clearer, more demanding. "You shouldn't have taken it off, Shikshachurn," she said. "You belong to me now." I screamed and tried to rip the shirt off, but the more I struggled, the worse it felt. I felt weak, like all the strength was being drained from my body, my bones turning to dust. I stumbled to the door and looked outside. It was the same street, the same village, but everything felt wrong. The sun was too bright, the air too thick, and the people on the road didn't seem to see me. I called out to them, but no one turned. I realized something. I was no longer part of the world I knew. I had crossed into a place where time moved differently, where I didn't exist. I had become trapped in the cloth. Desperate, I went back to the woman's stall. She was there, standing just as I remembered, smiling that empty smile. When I approached, she looked me up and down and said, "I told you, didn't I? You belong to me now." The realization hit me hard. I wasn't the first one. The clothes were cursed. She was selling pieces of her soul, trapping anyone foolish enough to buy them. She wasn't just selling fabric. She was selling pieces of herself, pieces of death. "Do you want to know what happens to those who wear my clothes?" she asked, her smile widening. "They become part of the collection. They are mine forever." That's when I saw it. Hanging on the edges of her stall were dozens of clothes, dresses, shirts, pants, all of them shimmering, all of them somehow wrong. They were all alive. I could see eyes, mouths, faces twisted in silent screams. The clothes were full of souls, each one trapped, each one a warning. The woman reached out and touched my shoulder. "Now you will join them," she said softly. I tried to run, but my body wouldn't move. The shirt was pulling me, dragging me back toward her. The world around me was changing, bending, and all I could hear was that laugh, the laugh of the woman who had taken everything from me. And then, Nothing. I woke up hours later in my own bed. The shirt was gone, but the pain wasn't. It still lingers deep in my chest. I don't know if I ever truly woke up. Maybe I'm still trapped. Maybe you are too. Next time you see a clothes seller by the side of the road, think twice before you buy anything. Some things are better left alone.